new. We're going to be going over the product today on the SwipeCoin Scalper. So if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chats. I'll go ahead and answer them right away. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys and just kind of just walk you guys through how to go about getting access to the SwipeCoin Scalper, right? Right here. I want to make sure everyone can see my screen. So go ahead and drop a 1-1 in the chat box if you guys can see my screen properly. I'm going to get right into it right now. Perfect. So for those guys that are brand new, you want to go ahead and log in, username and pass, and you want to go ahead and find the tool as the SwipeCoin Scalper. I already have everything bookmarked, but I'm just logging in so I can walk you guys through how to go about getting access to it. So you want to go ahead and go on the strategy section, right? Strategy section within on the left-hand side is going to bring you directly to all the different strategies you have within the platform, right? And over here, I'm going to go on the DCX section, right? In the DCX section, you're going to have the scalper, harmonics, and my SwipeCoin Scalper, right? Later on this week, I'll be going over again the DCX harmonic standard, right? But for today, I'm just going to be mainly just touching on the SwipeCoin Scalper. So over here, you click on this, it pops you up to the link. I suggest just have everything bookmarked. Me personally, everything is already bookmarked. Just wanted to make sure I walk you guys through the process of going about finding the tools itself, right? So when you come on the scalper, this is kind of telling you the steps to follow on how to utilize the scalper, right? You guys can just close this out or watch it. I highly recommend you guys watch it. Also, now once you get on, I'm letting this load. I want you guys to notice a few things, right? As you get on the scalper, right, you're gonna notice, let me just put this on full. As you get on the scalper, you're gonna notice right here, right? You're gonna notice right here there is there's strategies. So you're gonna have DCX Alpha, you're gonna have Smooth, you're gonna have the original. I'm gonna mainly go over the original SwipeCoin Scalper and the Smooth. The original consists of the strategy that's based on the scalper, that that was a name that Nick Gomez and Crypto Picasso put together for us to be able to utilize. So there's different educators as well that teach how to really body the scalper, right? So I'm going to show you how I'm bodying the scalper, but I'm also going to show you which educators you can listen to get a great understanding of how to really body the scalper on your own time. Because once you utilize the strategies of these go live educators, these experts, it's game time from there. So whenever I get on the scalper always, whether you're on BTC or ETH, it'll always provide to you on the side right here. 10 hours ago, 11 hours ago, there was a sell that was called, a buy that was called. Finally, the buy did what we wanted it to do. So if we click on this buy, we notice that right here, it called a buy, right, on this EMA. But always notice what it says right here, right? It says break and close above of this price, which is 50,853, right? So what that means now, and I'm going to go ahead and use the tools I see on the side. I'm going to go to use the arrow just to kind of just describe what I want to show you guys. So now when they say break and close, right, I want you guys to really understand. It means that we have broken above of this black line, right? And a new candle, like, okay, example right here. So this breaks above. It broke above it. No matter how many pips, it broke above it and it closed above it. This is the best example I could really give you. Like, I want to make sure everyone can see this. It closed above the black line and a new candlestick opened. The moment this new candlestick opened, that was your point of entry, right? What you're going to learn from the educators, right? They teach us that you want to make sure you're entering these trades. You want to set an alert example right here. And once this breaks above about 50 to 100 pips, right? You want to now execute. So now this has broken above 100 pips. Now you being brand new, you're like, yo, Ralph, what is 100 pips? You just want to use your ruler or just do the math, right? So 100 pips is meaning, so here it says 853, right? So you want it to say 953. That's 100 pips. So you want to just go here, move it up all the way till it says 100, right here. So the second it says 100, that would have been a great point of entry for yourself to participate in the marketplace, right? And if you were to enter at that point in time, market would just gone into your direction in this case, and you would have been able to make a lot of profit, right? So now, another thing I want to give you guys some more awareness on is, you see right here, once you scroll down, I believe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 7 tool right here, right? So this tool right here, I want to pick a long position. What does long position stand for? Long position stands for buys in the marketplace, and the short position stands for sells in the marketplace, right? So I'm gonna click on the longs for the buys, right? So I'm gonna place it right here on the black line, right? And remember, we said we buy literally 100 pips up. So I'm gonna move this about 100 pips up, right? It all depends when you've seen it, right? Me, the moment I see it closes, I'm entering the marketplace. I'm very, very risky, but you want to play it safe and make sure you let the market run at least 100 pips so you can validate that it's actually going there. Because what may happen sometimes, right? What may happen sometimes is that, okay, look, markets runs at 100 pips, but it does not close in the area and actually goes back down and goes below this line. And at that point in time, that would have been a trade that we're not taking, right? But as you can see here, we closed, we broke above, right? And now we can now execute this. Now, what are you risking? As far as a stop loss, you don't want to risk no more than about 50, no more than 100 to about 150 to 250 points, right? You don't really need to risk more than that because you're scalping the market. So let's say I put here 200. Let's say I put here 200 below, below this low. I can even stretch it to below this wick. I just stretch it below the close of this candle right here. This is where the candlestick closed. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and stretch this up all the way to 3, right? Why am I doing it all the way to 3? It's gonna make sense in a few moments, right? I'm doing that because I want to make sure I have, while taking these scalp trades, I have good risk to reward, right? Good risk to reward just stands for you pretty much making sure you're risking one apple to obtain 1 apple to obtain 3 apples, and 1 apple to obtain 5 apples, right? So simply all you want to do is manage your risk reward effectively. So here I know I'm risking about 1% of my balance, right, of my capital to now obtain 3% of my capital, right? 3 times more. So right here, once again, same thing, same concept, right? So it's either you want to aim for that 3 to 1, or switch it over. Either aim for that 3 to 1, or you also aim for a 5 to 1. These are ideal trades you want to aim for, when you're looking at a marketplace. Now, do you need to hold your trade for it to go that far along? No, you don't need to do that, right? You could decide that, okay, now your trade is now in profit, right? You see that, market is moving now. You've moved up. The second you move up from your entry, you move about 200 pips from your entry. So 200 pips, it moves about 200 points, right? That's about it. I use the ruler to calculate that. Once I'm up 200 pips, I'm securing my profits. I'm going to go ahead and in your MetaTrader 4, right? What you're doing is that you're modifying your stop loss now to where it was at the bottom here. You're modifying it to be now, let's say 50 points from your entry, right? So about 50 points from the entry, about 950. So 50 points from the entry would be about 51,000. So I would about set my stop to about 51,000. And then now I know my trade is risk-free. I know it can now go into the direction it wants to go. And regardless of what happens, I'm not really emotionally affected by it because I know I'm risking good risk reward, 5 to 1, risking 1 for 5, risking 1 for 3. And in this case, we've hit all maximum of take profits in this situation. And once we hit those max take profits, what did the market do? Market is retracing back, right? And if it comes back here, we may receive another alert from the scalper, or scalper may just give us the same confirmation and just say the test of this will bring in a continuation, right? That's simply so. That's how I utilize the scalper, right? Now, our educators, one of our educators like Sean, is going to teach you how to really, he's actually live today, I believe at 7 p.m. I'm going to check on Go Live to be sure, but he's going to teach you how to be able to utilize support resistance, right? Because what you want to understand, right? What you want to understand is that what happened here is that, this right here, if we're looking at just right here, let's forget about what I just showed you guys. If you're looking at just right here, this was a ceiling in the marketplace, right? So the ceiling is otherwise known as resistance to a lot of you guys. I personally trade smart money, so I don't use those terminologies anymore. But I know I have to use them so you guys can understand. So right here, this is your resistance, right? And what happens now when they tell us break and close, right, above of a certain price, it just means we're waiting for it to break. And now this new resistance is gonna become a newfound area of support. All right. So this resistance becomes a newfound area of support. And in doing so, automatic support. So if it now comes back to that same area and we hold at this area, what is that going to be? That's going to be a new, that's that support. But if we were to, example, break below this, right? For example, to come in and break below this right here, this found support would be now in a newfound resistance, and we'd be looking for the sells in the marketplace. That's just really how you want to really look at the marketplace as it is, right? And something that a lot of people like to want to share and have an idea, am I doing the right thing? If you guys want to go ahead and share this with someone within the family, or you want to go ahead and drop it in the trade room chat that we have within the community, right? You want to go ahead and just click on the camera, and it's going to click on save. It's going to pop out right there for you, right? So it's going to show you BTC M15, right? And you can go ahead and just copy and paste this, right? And put it in the chats, right? Put it directly in the chats, simply so, right? So it's really that simple to operate and navigate within the SwipeCoin Scalper. Now I'm gonna go on Ethereum example, right? So on the Ethereum example right here, the same concept is applied. The same concept is applied on ETH, right? Very much so simple. So right here on ETH, right? Go right here, zooming in, perfect. So on ETH here, we got an alert about 19 minutes ago. We got an alert for a sell 19 minutes ago. Yeah, the alert generated by itself. Prior, we had a buy, right? 8 hours ago, we had a buy. Let's talk about the buy, and I'm gonna break down the sell because this sell looking juicy right now. Right, it's looking real juicy. But let's look at this buy first of all, right? So this buy that happened about eight hours ago, we got the alert to say that there's a buy setting up. But did it happen instantly? No, it didn't take off right away. But someone could have easily came here and profited from it, right? So once again, I'm gonna use this. Go on arrows, right? And you want to understand that what's happening here, we got a buy that was called here. So we just want to price the break above of 4,090. So price breaks about 4,090 and breaks and closes above this black line, right? Like what happened here, it broke and closed above it. And then, we give ourselves at least 100 pips space. So if you want to give yourself about 100 pips space, is about going from 490 to about what is it called? 4,100, right? And at 4,100, you'd now be able to now take advantage and participate and have the confidence to say that, what, this is gonna do its thing, right? So if you participated right here, and you see, let me just back this up real quick. Right here, use the ruler, and this was where about 41, right? So someone that took advantage of this would have taken advantage and being able to profit slightly of about like 150 pips. How do I know it's 150 pips? It's because right here it says it 114, right? It says 14 right here. So if we're looking at pip count, it's 140 because this is cryptos, right? This is how you calculate it. It's calculated by points, but it's actually 140 pips, right? So now if we go back to it, right, we can see that we spent a lot of time at this newfound support. So it broke above, became a newfound support. The resistance became a newfound support, and in it becoming a newfound support, we stayed stagnant here for a while. But eventually, you see right here, what did price do? Price broke above, closed above, and just went into the direction that we wanted it to. And someone could have just easily profited a few $100s, a few $1,000s, all depending on your account size, of course, right? Now, once again, I like to make sure the risk reward makes sense to me, right? This is how I operate in the marketplace, right? So risk reward is very, very important to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and use like this tool right here. So long position, so because we're buying again in the marketplace. So wherever I seen this at, right? This is how I would have operated. So I would have put my stop, my entry there. I would have adjusted my entry. If I entered 50 pips above the move or 100 pips above the move, but let's say we did 100 pips above the move, right? So 100 pips is about right here, 41. My stop would be no more than 150 to 200, right? So put that 200 right there. And my take profit is going to be 3. I always aim for 3 to 1. Now, like I said earlier, doesn't mean you have to hold your trade all the way on top. No, it doesn't mean you don't have to hold your trade all the way to the top, right? Go right here. Fix this 3, 3. So I always aim for 3 to 1. So finally, I had my stop here about 200 pips, right? 150 to 200 pips, just to make sure I was below this low, right? I just set my stop loss to the previous low that I seen, right? Which is this right here before we broke. So anyone that entered here along these lines, price like gave you some hope, try to come and break you even. Eventually, we finally just broke above of this area, right? And price went. Now, how many pips did price run? You want to use a ruler and calculate it. Price ran about up to 260 pips, right? That's not even like if I adjust this. Oh, hold on, let me just do this. All right, so if I adjust this, just see where price went to. That's like a 1-to-1 risk reward trade, right? Is that it? Yeah, it's like a 1-to-1 risk reward trade. But at the end of the day, remember, I want you guys to remember this. You guys are here to make profit. So taking profit is like, you can't go broke taking profit, guys, right? You cannot go broke taking profit, ladies and gents. You want to go ahead and just, you see that you're in profit. You see that you're up $100, $200, $1,000. Like, this is money that you're making literally within a matter of minutes and hours. So if that's the case, why wait for market to run the whole way? You don't always have to wait for it to run the whole race, right? You can take what we call partial profits, right? For those guys that don't understand what partial profits is, so example, when you enter a trade and your lot size is above 0.01, so example, you need a lot size of 0.02 or 0.05 or 0.10, you can now go ahead and close a portion of that lot size, a portion of your position, and secure some of your profits. So if ever, right, it comes back against you, like it did over here, you're not losing out on money. You've already secured some of your profits, if not all of it, right? And that's entirely up to you. So you see this, it's up to you to decide if you want to participate or not. Nobody's going to come tell you, go ahead and participate. Nobody's holding a trigger to you, telling you, you got to participate right now. If this makes sense and you follow the instructions, right, that I've given, or one of the educators I've given, you can now make a profit out of this. Once again, I highly suggest once you're in profit, you want to go ahead and secure your profit, right? So example here, once you're in profit, we're about like, let's say this was 41. So once I get up to like 4150, calling me right now, but once I get up to 4150, this is exactly what I would have done. 4150, 4150. Hold up. Yeah. 4105, that's already 50 pips. So 4105, at this point, I'm already securing some profits. I'm breaking even, right? Am I moving my stop loss to there? No, not at all. But what I'm doing is I'm making sure that my stop loss that was here is that now that I break even, right? And now I can go ahead and take advantage of what's right here, right? So that's how you really go ahead and easily utilize the scalper. In this case, we have a sell here, right? The same concept applies, right? I'm like, people need to understand, like, I'm on a call right now, decline, right? So right here we have the sell, right? So the same thing applies for the sell. You want to go ahead right here. Set your stop roughly about 100, 200 pips, right? So this is a trade you guys can potentially take right now. And you want to go ahead and drag it all the way, 3-to-1 risk reward trade. Am I favoring the sells? I don't know. I'm not really favoring it. But if it follows along with the strategies, right? So right here we broke below it, we closed. They haven't updated this yet, but this gave us an update. So we already got an alert that the algorithm, right? The algorithm was already telling us that we could now look for a sell. But remember, we broke below this. We're broken below this now. I personally would wait for it to go like about 100 pips. See what happens after this candlestick closes. So let's see. Let me go right here. This goes about 100. Once it does 10 points down below and closes below this, I'd be willing to participate, right? If you're already right here and you're impatient, you can participate, of course, with your stop loss above the highs, right? But just looking at it. Now, move my stops to about 200, 150, 200. You don't need more than that. And now you'd be running all the way to this low. How do I know where to go? How low I need to go? I don't know how low I need to go. I just know I'm following my risk to reward, right? Once you learn strategy, you know that, okay, we always aim for the previous low. If we're now selling, we're aiming for a new low, wherever liquidity is, right? If you guys have been on my other calls, you guys kind of understand how I trade. I trade based on smart money. So even when I'm using a strategy like the SwipeCoin Scalper, I'm always thinking of my strategy, right? I'm always thinking of how I trade, my method of trading, because that's my trading edge, right? So I know markets can take us all the way to this low at least, because this is an area of resistance here. And even all the way down here, we can see this is also an area of resistance. So it makes sense for price to go all the way there. All I had to do was zoom out a little bit and I was able to see the rest of the details. So that's how I want you now in future go about operating within the marketplace. Now I want to share with you really quickly, smooth, right? The smooth section. So in the smooth section right here, it's very much simple, right? I want you to know in the smooth section, this is where you're going to have Picasso himself, right? Picasso himself, he's going to be sharing ideas of what he sees, where he sees the market going, right? Let's click on reset. And you see here on the reset, Picasso had put here back when the price was down here on the 4-hour, and he let us know, looking for a higher low in the zone. So the same strategy as the scalper applies, right? But this is where he uses this to give us swing trade ideas. We never wicked into this like we actually did, like later on here, but we never wicked back. So now when price held this area, what happened? Price now started to go into the direction, held the 50 EMA, direction TP1 was hit. These red lines are his target points. And notice his target points are where support resistance is at, where the ceiling is at, right? We always aim for our targets is always going to be the ceiling when we're buying, and for when we're selling, it's going to be always the floor that's going to be our targets, right? So he does this for BTC, ETH, likewise, right? So you can at least get an idea of what he sees in the marketplace. Now, you want to really understand how does this work, right? How do you know what these clouds mean? Go on Picasso session and live with him. You're going to be able to grasp exactly what these are exactly. But I'm going to explain it really quickly. I want you to notice, whenever we cross from red to green, we're now in a place where market is majority of the time buying. Whenever we cross from green to red, we're now in a place where market is majority of the time selling. Simply so. That's back tested. Don't take my word for it. Just go ahead and do your own due diligence. You're going to be able to understand what I mean. Now, as far as the educators, right? Before I let you guys go, educators that you can utilize to grasp a firm way of following a system, right? If you guys were already part of the Wealth Empire family for some time, you guys already had a chance to have Sean Ogutosin, which is one of our Go Live educators, come show us exactly how to utilize the scatter like he does within one of our team calls. And that's why these team calls that happen on a weekly or every Sunday they're very, very important. So you want to scroll down, right? Go on a DCX section, right? Go on a DCX section, right? And in the DCX section, I want you to notice what's amazing about this. Yes, you have a lot of phenomenal educators. I stick to 2-3 educators, right? I listen to Sean, I listen to Mike Sotero and Cobain, right? And of course Picasso, because he's the GOAT, right? Picasso for you guys to find out exactly how to use a scalper, how he uses it, how he does his market analysis on it. Picasso is the man by far, right? He's really the one, right? And now if you move back to like Sean, right, over here, he's a scalper. Today, 8 p.m. Eastern time, he's going to be breaking down an overview of how he operates in the scalper, right? And then Tuesdays and Thursdays is his live sessions at 7 p.m. where he's going to be giving you live ideas, right? Like I just showed you guys on the scalper, so you guys can now navigate through it and make profits with him online. Right? And you're gonna have different Telegram chats they're gonna introduce you to. But I would highly suggest if you don't know how to utilize the scalper, you want to make profits from it, go on his live session, right? And you're gonna be able to make a significant amount of profits. Will you make profits all the time? Of course not. We're gonna take some losses sometimes as well, but we win more majority of the time. So that was really it for really how to utilize the scalper. I really hope you guys enjoy and understand now better how to better take advantage of the scalper as it is, right? So if you guys have questions, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me on Telegram, whatnot. If not, you can just go ahead and ask a question right now on a Zoom call, right?